We're live. Take it away.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Super Jeremy World. And I am your host, Super Jeremy. And we have our super cool co host. And I don't know which direction he is. So either this way or that way.
Oh, dang it.
Go ahead.
No. Hi, everybody. Blues Tech. Just dealing with technical difficulties and accidentally resizing windows when I didn't mean to. How y'all doing tonight?
We got Mike and Michael. Oh, yeah, you did resize me there. I see that now. Okay.
Yeah, it was an accident. Just an accident.
Cool.
Working on it.
So anyway, we're glad to be back with you guys this week at the Two Brothers Retro Games and Tech podcast, Super Jeremy World and Blues Tech combined. And here we are, coming at you from Washington State. And this week, let's just pop right in. What do you play this week, Aaron?
I played shutting your video off. Okay. What did I play this week? That's a good question. I did play stuff this week. I just have to remember what it was. Let's see here. I tried to play some Bridge Crew. Mike. Anyways, by the way, the chat is down there for me, so yeah. I looked at you, Mike. OG Mike. I tried to play some Bridge Crew, but that didn't work out this week. I've been playing Wipeout HD on PlayStation 3. And for the first time in my life, I wish I had VR. Because that game would be amazing in VR. Because it's like a hover race car game. And it's very, it's very intense, very fast-paced, very cool. It's very, very much so fun. It's really, really cool. But I just think it would be an amazing VR game. So if they ever release that, I'm sure that Michael will let me know. The resident PlayStation fan boys. Either of them. Oh! It is a thing. Says OG Mike. It's a thing on PS4. See, why you gotta do that? Now I have to go buy a PS4. That's not cool. And the VR crap. Dang it. Anyways, that's what I've played this week. I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed. A little bit more of Assassin's Creed. I'm still not impressed. Nope. Not even a little.
Of the original?
Yeah. Fun fact though, when I ordered my new processor for my computer, I got the yet to be released Assassin's Creed for free.
Valhalla?
Yeah. I got the pre-order, so I've already typed in the code. It's gonna automatically download the night it launches. Easy peasy. So I'll at least get to compare and contrast old Assassin's Creed with new Assassin's Creed. Hey, I can do a video.
I have a bit of Valhalla info for you. You can
pick up. No,
there's no but. You cover yours if you want. It's not exactly a spoiler. You can pick up and pet any cat in the game.
That is awesome. that is awesome. But I don't want any other spoilers because I know exactly zero about it. And that's how I want to go into playing it. If I ever actually go to play a game, that's how much I want to know about it. I want to know zero about it. I don't want anybody's opinions. I don't want to know what the news says it's going to be like or what the articles say. I don't even want to see a stupid trailer. If I'm going to play it,
so
zero reference.
There's going to be some stabbing. And there's going to be people wearing hoods.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Will you
be trying to
gently pushing through crowds and stuff?
Yeah, pushing through crowds, blending in with people. You can kill NPCs if you want. Yeah, I all that's going to be in there.
Yeah, it's fun playing the original with the kid in the room because he's like, "Don't kill that guy! Don't kill that guy!" But I want to.
Yeah, so this week, as I said last week, I was just starting Knights Old Republic replay for I don't know how many times, but I was doing a Dark Side replay. Last time, I think I was just starting or just finishing Terrace.
That's
I
right.
think just finishing. So I have now logged 40 hours in the game
Nice.
as of today, and finished. I finished it this morning. So that's been a week. That's a work week right there. And it was fun. So somebody released a video. I can't remember the guy, but if you go on YouTube, and you can find Knights Old Republic, BioWare's clunky masterpiece, and I think that is really the best way to put it. That video just came out this week, and it was just somebody kind of doing a replay. Hey Thomas, thanks for popping in. So on this Knights Old Republic replay, it was really the story that drove it more than anything, and it was so fun to go back because I've replayed it a lot, but it's been years now, so I've forgotten a lot of like the side quests and the storylines that were not the main one. And so it was really cool to go back and play that, but for the story. But the gameplay, there's a lot of stuff that's like, man, they didn't figure this out. Like you've almost always got 3 people in your party, and it seems like every other screen you go on, you're like trying to fight through a member of your party who's in the way.
Oh yeah, I remember
And
that vividly.
or you get to like something case or crate you're supposed to be able to open, and it's like it can't figure out how to get your character lined up just right to open the darn thing. So it's just, but that was kind of a constant throughout. But I will say, like, it really did merit that Game of the Year 2003 honors, because even with the graphics, I mean, we're talking 17-year-old graphics at this point, and there were still times when I wanted to pause and take screenshots of like how awesome the scenes looked. Like you're on Dantooine and you're looking out over the fields, or you're on Korriban looking over the Valley of the Sith, and it is just breathtaking. And these are old, outdated graphics at this point, but they still look amazing. Like it was a great playthrough. I really loved playing Dark Side. I kind of mentioned that last time. That was really it was really fun to go back and play through it.
What are you playing on?
Oh, on PC.
Oh, well then the reason it looks great is because you're playing the remastered version, most likely.
I'm playing what is on whatever's current on Steam.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the remastered version.
Okay.
It's not quite the same as the original one. There's no content difference. It's just everything has been upscaled for 1080 and.
Oh no, I wasn't playing that. No, this was 800 by 600.
Oh, was it not in the graphics options?
There were higher graphics options, but nothing that went widescreen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
so it was
if I'm not mistaken, there's a 1080 upgrade for it.
Yeah, I don't think I had whatever that mod or whatever installed for it. I know they've done that for Knights Old Republic 2. But I know on Xbox, I think on my Xbox, I've got a Knights Old Republic remaster that I could play in widescreen. But this I just played through PC, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good playthrough. Reminded me of what I loved about the game. This is your cue, because today I started Knights Old Republic 2, and I know you wanted to jump in.
I'm behind. You were supposed to tell me when you started, like when you started. Dang it.
Well, we're on the same day. If you get in there today, I've played about half an hour on it. So just the little thing, you have the opening sequence where you're trying to restore the Ebon Hawk with T3, and then just got into Paragus.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, spoiler alert.
Um,
Uh,
so this is kind of jumping the gun a little bit because you haven't finished 2 yet, let alone played the MMO, which you will be
well,
doing sooner than you
I've
think.
played 2 before.
Yeah, but you haven't played it recently.
True.
Anyways, this is kind of jumping the gun, but back in January there was a leak from EA that they were going to be doing not a remaster, but a reboot to the KOTOR franchise.
Hmm.
And how they were going to do that is it would take place after like a sequel, after 2, like a sequel, and that it would bring the KOTOR section of Star Wars into canon. Keep in mind, all this happened after a bunch of other leaks that have been confirmed by the same people, like they were the first ones to leak or to report the leak that was the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, okay.
So they have some credibility. Um, so I have mixed emotions about this because they said nothing about SWOTOR, the MMO, which
Hmm.
if they cut SWOTOR out of the equation, I'm gonna be quite irritated because there is so much content there you cannot skip it. So it's either gonna have to be between KOTOR 2 and SWOTOR, or it's gonna be gonna have to be after SWOTOR because there is a lot of freaking content in SWOTOR.
Hmm.
But what do
Now
you?
I have heard that they're planning on a Knights of the Old Republic movie trilogy. But I haven't heard. I think I was hearing about that earlier this year or last year. But I haven't heard much since. Just that it's on the planning sheet.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about the movie trilogy either at this point. I hope it's a go though.
Yeah, and I will say there is in the Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary. They had a page that where most folks took it to mean that Knights of the Old Republic became canon at that point, because when they described the Sith Trooper in that book, it listed the notable legions of Sith Trooper, and they listed the third legion of Sith Troopers as the Revan Legion, and so the most folks took that as adopting Knights of the Old Republic into the official canon because that book
Sorry.
was produced by Disney.
Sorry, that's not how it works. You can't mention one thing and have the entire everything associated with it become canon. However, I
I
will
will say
say
too,
that
Disney did bring the Knights of the Old Republic characters into their Galaxy of Heroes game.
well, I think that they may be trying to incorporate it because Disney frankly has a better eye for Star Wars content and canon than previous people. Cough. But I think that everything would be a generalized push to bring it in because if they really are planning a movie trilogy and they are planning a unnamed KOTOR 3, then it would make sense to slowly start pushing things into canon. So like
Hmm.
the Revan Legion drop, that's just one thing that kind of pushes it a little bit, and then you've got more stuff that just kind of pushes it a little bit, like being tied into the games, and then you come out with the third game. I bet you will be the major tie-in point where they finally canonize it completely, and then after that you will get the trilogy because there will be no question in most super fans' mind whether or not at that point whether or not it's canon. It just will be.
That makes sense.
Disney is good about some things, just really not others.
Okay, so now when you're playing KOTOR 2, are you going to play a dark side playthrough?
I don't know. You know, I could be really stupid and play a mixed run through if I wanted to die every 10 seconds and not be able to use any real force powers.
That's true. You could.
No, I'll probably do either a dark or light, pure dark or pure light side. I don't know. It'll depend on the mood I'm in when I start it the first day. If it
Cool.
installs correctly and everything's going fine, I will probably be light side. But PC Master Race, it probably won't install correctly. It probably won't play fine immediately, and I will probably have issues with it, so I will probably be dark side.
That's an interesting way to choose.
If I'm mad, I'm not going to want to listen to this person. I'm just going to want to.
All right. So let's move on to our topics. So first one is we had the Amico event last Wednesday.
We did.
And did you get a chance to watch?
I watched most of it. By most of it, I mean half of it, and by half of it, I mean a quarter of it.
So what were your thoughts?
Okay. Throw myself under the bus here. But my thoughts were, I really thought that, and I know it changed later, but I really thought that the beginning of it and the parts that I did watch being pre-recorded that was not the way to go. 100% not the way to go. Especially not when the company is literally based and founded around the idea of bringing people together. I think that the entire event should have been a live event, especially after missing E3. That's not their fault, it's COVID's fault. But when you don't have big publicity, or if you don't have big live events like E3, you have to do something live, for the community that you have been building around your thing. And I kind of honestly felt insulted it wasn't live from the start. I get playing pre-recorded snippets and stuff for like gameplay and a few people talking here and there, but like I swear I watched it for 20 minutes and I was done because it was just all pre-recorded and I was done.
So how does that change the experience for you? Just as I'll just say as the end user, but because if it was pre-recorded or if they were live, isn't your experience the same?
No, not one little bit. I don't think so. You're telling me that the Mike, OG Mike, you're telling me that Sony doesn't do live streamed events and Microsoft doesn't do live streamed events, because they do. It's different for me because I don't think something like that should be pre-recorded. That's just my personal opinion. No one else has to believe the same thing I do. I just don't think when you're trying to have a conversation with your community, especially when it's such a large conversation with such a drastic change from the original plan, I feel that doing something pre-recorded is much more impersonal than sitting down and talking eye to eye with your community, if that makes sense.
Okay. So are you just kind of looking for like missing like that interactive piece?
Yeah.
Like where you could be on and like chat with them or something while they're presenting?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I kind of get where you're coming from there. I do feel like, especially with Tommy, he does a ton of live interviews, and so for me, I feel like this was actually kind of a refreshing change up to get something that's produced by Intellivision. So I was kind of happy with it on that end. But I get what you're saying. I don't know, like, if you have like our audience, okay, we've got an audience where we can interact with every person who comes on right now, right?
Right.
And so they pop in, they chat, we can do that. You've got like but if you get an event like Intellivision's, I can't remember, the number kept climbing. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember it being like 8,000 at once, 9,000. Did we get over 10,000 watching all at once? I can't remember, but somebody in the chat will. But you get to that point where it's not possible to interact with really with the group while the event is going on. And so that's for me how I'm like I feel kind of disconnected if it's live anyway.
Well, what most people, talking strictly about streamers and influencers at this point, when most people reach a size when they have that much chat traffic flow, they only answer super chats, which is completely acceptable in my eyes. Plus, it would have been another small, albeit very small, revenue source for Intellivision, but it would have been a stream. Um, and
Yeah, but they'd get
Mike,
accused of crowdfunding again.
Mike, was the Sony PlayStation 5 tech thing not live? Because I watched it live, and that was definitely this year when they announced when they did the whole SSD announcement. That was live. That was live, and I don't know how it wasn't because I watched it live. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I may be misremembering things. I'm known to do that sometimes.
Well, it could have been something where it was scheduled like in televisions, so you watched concurrently with everybody. Maybe like a premiere event, but not live. I don't know. I wasn't there.
It did not seem pre-recorded to me. They had pre-recorded content in the background, for sure, but it did not seem that way to me.
Anyway, I will say, as with I think everybody involved from the Intellivision side to the fans, disappointed in the delay, but I also think it's understandable. I do feel like I was surprised by how far out it was, because I was expecting like quarter 1, but I remember Aaron when we talked about a quarter 1. You were thinking quarter 1 was too early, like just a bad spot. And so actually going April, they're now quarter 2. It gives some recovery time for those parents and families who spend a lot on Christmas and take a couple months to recoup. And actually tax day, a lot of folks have some extra cash around tax day. So I'm just going to say there is some benefit to that. I am like, as somebody who, I have a founder's edition. I paid for a VIP as well. And that money is now going to be tied up for more than a year. And that, that's again a disappointment. But I am really excited still for the console. I think it is going to lead to more games being available at launch, which is exciting. I wouldn't be surprised if Tommy doesn't include more pack-in games to kind of offset the delay. They'll have more things ready, be able to showcase maybe a broader variety of games when it does launch. So anyway, go ahead and share some more of your thoughts.
So I understand the financial and the marketing and logistical reasons for pushing it to April. That's all I have to say.
All right.
Because that and my head shake, that's all I have to say. I was highly disappointed. Not enough to cancel, but I'm getting there.
Oh, I know whatever day it comes out, you're still going to want to take it apart.
Oh, sure, but
if you don't have your own, you can't come take apart mine.
I just don't see 6 months was excessive. If the problem with 6 months for me in my head, and this is just my logical thinking, is aside from the financial and the marketing and all of that, all of those benefits that they get from an April launch because tax season and everything else, aside from those benefits, it makes a part of me think that they were nowhere near as far along as they've been saying they were. I don't like saying that, but a part of me feels that way when I hear something like, "Oh, we're going to push it 6 months." I'm not trying to be critical of Amico. I've been an Amico supporter. I am still an Amico supporter, as noted by the fact that I didn't cancel. But that thought is now in the back of my head because the launch got pushed 6 months.
Yeah, and I want to say, just from what I've heard, is, there's a lot of frustration on Intellivision's side that the compliance testing has not been able to take place. That's where their videos that they've done lately has kind of come from, that frustration of not being able to get the testing done. And a lot of that simply is at a standstill as they're waiting for COVID restrictions to lift in their area. And so between that and the manufacturing side, right now they're waiting on the compliance testing. And as long as things are going further into lockdown or maintaining that level, they don't have an end time or a completion date as far as when the testing can be done and completed. And so I'm going to give them that grace right now, that they're trying to push out to a far enough date that they feel confident, well, absolutely, by then we have to be through this, right? Because if we're
Right.
not, it's
And
so I don't feel like it means they were far behind. I do feel like they're frustrated by the lack of progress on the compliance testing, and that there just isn't an end in sight as far as when that's going to be completed right now.
And like, I understand all that, and I agree with everything you just said. And they're also not the only ones pushing stuff. Halo Infinite just got pushed to Q1.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was supposed to be November. That's a game. Like, there's zero reason that Halo Infinite should not be launching in November. I don't know a single computer programmer who can't work from home, or a single game designer who can't work from home. It's one of the easiest jobs to do from home. So, I mean, Intellivision's not the only one pushing things. I get it. And yeah, they have the problem with the compliance. All I'll say about that is there are other ways in other places besides the places they're choosing to do. It's more expensive. That's the problem. Other people are still launching products this year. Products that are still in testing currently. But anywho, let's move on to the next subject before we get bogged down.
All right. Well, let's take next off my list. Saw a couple videos from Richard Review Tech and talking about Xbox. So rumors are persisting about Xbox Series X pricing. And rumors are persisting that the Xbox Series X is going to be priced lower than the PS5. And that the idea is being floated that Microsoft is willing to take a loss on the console in order to bring more people into its ecosystem. Because I don't know, last I saw, I think Microsoft has like a 20% market share compared to PlayStation.
That's probably being a little generous.
It would make sense to, if they have the money in the bank to take the initial loss and bring people in. I think that makes a lot of sense, because you can easily make that up once you've got the console in the home. You make it up through selling controllers, games, storage. You've got a lot of ways to make that money back.
The problem I see with that is, did you say what the Review Tech USA thought the price would be?
No, I just said they'd be lower than PS5. But they're, again, rumored is that it could be as low as $399.
Okay, so first off, no. Second off, no. Because no amount of cutting the price on the console is going to make people from the Sony platform switch to the Microsoft platform. If you're already playing Sony, if you're already playing PlayStation, they're not switching. That's just the way it is. I got an email from my buddy who got a thing because of his pre-order directly from them saying that they were not going to launch until Q1, at least Q1 of
What are we talking about?
2021. Responding to Mike. Anyways, no amount of money is going to get PlayStation fanboys to switch to be Microsoft fanboys. Selling it $100 cheaper, selling it $150 aren't going to get anybody to switch. And as for attracting a new audience, yeah, it may be cheaper, but you're still not going to make up 30% market share. It's just not going to happen. And furthermore, the Xbox One, the original Xbox One, not the Xbox, but the Xbox One original launch console sold for $500. There's no way that the Xbox Series X is going to launch for a penny less than that. I still put the Xbox One X at probably $550 to $650.
Yeah, I don't see. So I know you mentioned making up 30% ground. I don't think anybody expects Xbox, even if they make a lower price console. That way, if they come out and price it low, intentionally taking a loss, I don't think anybody sees them coming up to overtake Sony. I think they're looking to make an incremental grab here. So, I think if they could get up to 25% or if they could get up to 30%, that they'd probably call that a win, because that's a huge, when we're talking users, that would be a huge swing if they can add 5 or 10% that they don't currently have. So I think that's what they'd be going for. Like you said, fanboys are not going to switch, but all of the people who bought a PlayStation 4, they're not all fanboys. And so you're going to have folks who are not, hardcore committed to staying on the console. There will be some new users. There would be some people willing to switch, and there will be some people who bought Xbox last gen who are going to buy PlayStation. You have folks who are fickle every time, kind of like in elections, but let's not go there. So there's always a swing vote you can go for.
So thank you, Mike from OGNLG, because I just found a different copy of the same notice, and it does not say Q1 on this one, but it does say Q1 on the other one. So one of them was obviously photoshopped, and I tend to agree with you that it would be probably holiday season 2021. So the one that I received was obviously wrong.
Yeah, so RAB says some amount of Sony's players had to switch from PS2, 150 million, to 360 in those first few years, 82 million. Fanboys probably not, but a lot of players would have transitioned when Sony struggled with PS3. So my second notable thing on Xbox is the Xbox Series S has been somewhat confirmed. That they have images from a person who purchased a controller on a resale market and had packaging which indicated compatibility with Xbox Series X and S, and then listed others, like Windows 10, things below. But they had official packaging with both X and S logos. So again, nothing about what are the specs of the console. All of that is strictly rumor, but the existence of the Series S or the Lockhart has now been confirmed. So that's an interesting bit. And then, that's the other piece is like, is that really the console that Xbox uses to kind of lure new users over to their side by pricing it that much lower than PlayStation's flagship console and even their digital only console. Can they use that to bring folks over?
I think
You
that's
know,
far more likely than them trying to lure people with the Series X. Because if you're trying to lure a new user base, you're not going to do it with your top tier product, because you, in no way, shape, or form are they going to be able to afford. They already take losses on consoles every time they sell a console. I think that the market statistic was like between 18 and 22% profit loss per console. There is no way that they could sell the Series X as cheap as they would need to bring in that new user market share. So I do believe that the Series S will be significantly cheaper, $100 to $150 cheaper than the Series X. It is not going to be $200 though. It will be $300 to $350.
Yeah, and I think I agreed with you when we talked about this a couple months ago. You were pretty doubtful about the Series S coming out, and I agreed with you at the
Doesn't
time
make
because
sense.
you pointed to the Xbox One X as a reason why that wouldn't come out, because that's all that would theoretically be a superior console in the current gen. So when Microsoft killed the Xbox One X, that's when I really felt like, okay, the S is very likely here, because as you pointed out, they wouldn't have a prior generation console with better specs than anything in the new generation. So I
Right.
think that's, yeah.
That's when I started believing as well.
And RAB says agree, give them a Paupers console and sell them on Game Pass. And yeah, it's going to be it's going to run like, I don't know, 1080p.
Yeah,
You know, that
1080p. It might do 120 FPS at 1080p to give it a selling point. That's just pure speculation. I have no idea about anything about the console. I'm just saying that if I was gonna make it and I was Microsoft, knowing that it's not gonna do 1440, knowing that it's not gonna do 1080 or 4K, I would sure as hell make it do 120 FPS at 1080. Now, if it does get 1440, I have my doubts about that, but if it does, it'll do 1440 at 30 frames a second.
Yeah, so we'll see what that's like, but I would guess again you cut down on storage so that folks who do buy that console, kind of like what did they have, like with the was it with the Xbox 360 that you could buy like the arcade version?
Yeah, you
Um,
could have the arcade or the elite when it launched. There was about $100 or $120 price difference if memory serves. One came with 0 hard drive space, but it came with an 8 megabyte, I want to say. Maybe it was 32. Something like that. It was a small storage card. It was very small. And then you could get bigger ones, obviously. But yeah, it was same deal.
yeah, so I think it'll be similar to that, where you again, they're selling you on Game Pass. You can download, you've got space maybe to download a couple of games before you're maxed out. So then you got kid begging mom, hey, can I get more storage for this? Maybe make it proprietary only.
It will be.
So that you have to do, just like the 360, you had to buy their big old add-on that sat on top and snapped in, and couldn't even add it on to the original. You had to replace the one that was there. Yeah, the arcade version and the regular version, the Elite, came later when they added HDMI and 120 gig HD. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, the storage add-on, that thing, I have a fun story. I bought one of those from a guy in a parking lot, and it was not functional. So then I just ponied up and paid for the real one. That was not my favorite day.
Okay, so maybe someone in chat can answer this for me, because like I've been mostly out of the Xbox scene this last generation. I have an Xbox One, but like I have a PC Master Race. Um, do you or do you not need a proprietary external hard drive in order to expand on the current Xbox One? Or
Oh,
can
it's
you
not
use...
proprietary.
It's not? Because I know they
Nope.
have their own branded externals.
No, I bought one from Amazon, and it
Okay.
works fine.
Okay. I think the original plan was for it to be proprietary. That's the only reason I was asking.
Yeah, they had a lot of original plans for Xbox One that changed. I think it was Xbox One where they originally pitched it, saying it was going to be all digital, no physical copies, and I've got physical copies of a lot of games on it now.
My thing is, I find
Yeah.
it really weird that they would allow any USB hard drive to work, because like even original Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox 360 Slim, they all had proprietary hard drive technology in one form or another, and you could not, without making modifications, get other hard drives to work with them. Okay, so it will. Okay, thank you, Mike. Mike says that it will format the drive special, though. Okay, so it is still using Xbox's proprietary formatting system. That's okay. I still know how to get around that. I was just curious because that was something they used to be very big on. I remember going through great headaches finding a way to install my own hard drive, any hard drive, into the original Xbox 360. I went to great lengths to do that.
All right. So we're through to interact and chat. You got a question for us, Aaron?
Well, I was supposed to have a question by now, wasn't I?
Well, I'll give you. Let me give you a minute to think, and I'll just say, first person to have the reference to my shirt. Where's this from? Drop it in the chat.
Have I done the if you could replay, if you could lose all memory of a video game and then replay it for the first time? Have we done that question before?
I don't think we have.
Okay. So, if you could completely forget about playing a video game and play it for the first time again, what would it be? I don't have an answer to this, so somebody else needs to say something.
So if you forget, you can kind of erase all memory of a video game and then play it for the first time.
For the very first time. If it was TV shows, I'd know right away. But video games, that's harder.
If I'm going that way, it's got to be story. And hey, Pete, you're actually just in time for a mention here. So if I'm going story, I'm actually going to say it would be for the game that I just finished playing, Knights Old Republic, because that was the best first playthrough of any game, and it was because of the story. And that moment when they have the big reveal and twist in the middle, and Pete's never finished it. So I'm not gonna do spoilers. So when they have the big twist and reveal, that was incredible. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. So that game for me, that was the that's the one that I would want to forget completely and play it again. Yes, Revan.
Oh, so Pete, in case you missed the question, if you could replay any game for the first time, like it was the first time, with no pre-existing memory of the game, what would it be? I'm still up in the air, because like I could just take the easy way out and say KOTOR, because I agree with that, but I don't know if it'd be my first choice. I think I'd take Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, Final Fantasy VIII would be another good one. That's a huge one. Final Fantasy VI, also solid. Really, most stories that are, or most games that are really story driven would be great to kind of do that, pop it out of your head and replay.
It would definitely either be Final Fantasy VIII or it would be SWOTOR, the agent storyline. Pete knows what I'm talking about. Well, maybe. I don't know if he's played Dark Side yet.
Let's see. So from the chat, Thomas Hughes says, I would probably pick Demon's Souls. It was my first Souls game and it totally blew me away. I agree that story-based games are a good choice. Michael says Final Fantasy VIII is great, but Persona 4 is amazing and I love playing with my kids. And Pete finished all 8 stories in Star Wars The Old Republic. Hey, I'm actually going to be right back. I got to run across the room because I have something to show Pete. So Pete, stick around.
That's okay. I can amaze people with the brightness and the awesomeness that my computer upgrade is. It got upgraded this week. I got an additional 32 gigs of RAM, and I am now running a Ryzen 3900X, and I just did a really, really good Cinebench score last night for air cooling. Got a 7850, which is faster than some Threadrippers. Not that anybody in this chat really cares, but yeah.
All right, here's what I got for Pete. Pete, I'm ready to shill for you, bud. Got my Open Every Box t-shirt in the mail this week.
Yes, Pete, that is good. that is very good.
And this is an Open Every Box original. He designed it himself. And down there the tagline is "For the fun of retro."
Hey, Pete, on that note, I wanted to buy a shirt, but like when I get back to using green screen, I can't have green. Like you got to make a shirt like that that's got like a yellow loading symbol or something, so I can wear it on green screen. Come on, man. Or blue.
Yeah, I like the shirt. I made a every now and again. TeePublic has discount days. So I found I was just replaced by some sexy hardware. Yeah, I found a discount day. They were doing like 25 or 30% off the whole site. So I ordered a few shirts. So you'll see some new stuff like my I Am Error and a few others in my video rotation soon. Cool. So we did our interact. Oh, Aaron, did you say you said Final Fantasy VIII, right? That's your game that you would forget and replay.
Yeah, or SWOTOR, the agent or the operative storylines. I really, really enjoyed the. I really enjoyed the consular one too, because I feel like that one's as close as you get to the original 2 games in storyline. But the most different and the most enthralling were definitely the agent and the operative. For me, anyways. So see, I can come up with things out of the blue. That was a good one.
Nice. All right. Now you've got a couple topics. I'll let you kind of take the lead.
They should be pretty short ones. See, Open Every Box. Pete, you know where I'm at? Consulars? I don't know about all that. Serenity Shadow is life. Anyways, Apple. This is the news spot. Apple is the only mainstream platform refusing game streaming services. So, obviously, like the Google service, the Nvidia service, all of the streaming services that are coming out, Apple has wholeheartedly refused, and their justification is that they would have to go through and review every single game in said streaming service and approve it or disapprove it for the Apple Store market thing. That's their justification. But we all know what it really is. Apple just wants to ensure their proprietary nature on their proprietary marketplace and get you to spend money with them instead of with somebody else. Which is weird because Apple takes 30 or 40% profit from every sale related to iPhone, etc.
So help me out with this. What would this service look like if they did is it that they're not allowing third parties to stream their games,
Okay.
or is it that they're not providing this to their consumers?
Okay, so like for instance, if you got Google Stadia, you know what that is, right?
Yeah, it's like the Amico, right? Sorry,
No.
had to do it.
Do you okay? Google Stadia is a game streaming service where you can play pretty much any game from PC on your phone, on your Android TV, on your tablet, wherever you want to play it. It just plays through a server on the cloud. You don't need any hardware except for the device you're playing it on.
Okay.
So Apple is not allowing those services, any of those services, on Apple products. So not on your Apple TV, not on your iPhone, not on your iPad, nothing. Disallowed. And yes, Microsoft xCloud as well, for obvious reasons. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure that yes, Michael, Halo is delayed. You know this. Stop poking.
So this is an interesting question I have then, because I was just looking at it earlier today, because I was downloading Star Wars: The Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic 2, on Steam on my PC, and it gave me an ad saying, "Hey, do you want to play this on tablet? Here's how." And it looked like I'd have to go back, but it looked like I could do it through my iPad.
Okay. There's a difference. One, you're streaming off your computer and you're streaming your own owned content. Does that make sense? So you would have to be on the same network in your house to stream that content from your computer to your phone or your tablet or whatever. Okay. It's Steam streaming or Steam Screen or something like that. And you again have to own that content. When you are streaming service, or if you're streaming a game from Google Stadia, you do not own the game. You can buy games on Stadia, I believe, and other services like that, but chances are you do not own it.
So kind of like the game rental service type thing, the game borrowing, not games you own. That's where Apple's drawing the line.
The game streaming services are Netflix, as if you didn't have a processor inside your TV or your Xbox. So it's Netflix played somewhere else and streamed to you.
Okay.
And there's obvious reasons why any serious gamer should not do game streaming because of the latency. It's not going to be good for multiplayer. Unless you're like right next to a network hub. And I don't mean a network hub in your house. I mean an internet hub, like less than 5 miles from your house. Then it might be okay.
Okay. All right.
Next topic in the tech world. Probably the last major one of the night. The TikTok. Funny. The TikTok China ban is confirmed as part of the U.S. government's Clean Network Initiative. That is to say, unless TikTok is bought by a U.S. company within the next 45 days. I think that's actually down to like 40 or 38 days at this point.
Or if they create a U.S. based subsidiary.
No, that doesn't count. It actually doesn't. The whole company
Okay.
has to be bought by a U.S. company. The way it is worded, they cannot have any ties to Chinese companies. So that means even if they were a shell corporation inside of a shell corporation inside of 10, and it all led back to who owns them now, Tencent, um, it would still be illegal. It cannot be
Interesting.
in any way, shape, or form owned by a U.S. company or by a Chinese company. Now, the interesting part of this is that how much of this scope is missed in the legal side of things, because it specifically says that TikTok and any associated Chinese companies, so anybody that's loosely or directly or indirectly associated with TikTok in China, is banned. And the problem with that is the owner of TikTok is Tencent, and they are one of the biggest companies in China, and they have controlling interest, is a polite way to put it, in a great vast majority of Hollywood production companies right now for media. And on the gaming side of things, they have great controlling interest in a very popular game, not with me, but with other people who don't know how to play Dota. They have a controlling interest in League of Legends. And they also have large interest in Riot Games. And here's the big one, Epic Games. So if Tencent gets banned from the US, which they will be by this TikTok ban, you're banning League of Legends, Riot Games as a production company, and Epic Games as a production and distribution company. And
Wow.
you just took out like 10% of the gaming market right there. Boom, gone. In the US anyways.
I got to catch up on some of the chat because we got some hilarious stuff going on. Michael says, I like Tic Tacs. They freshen your breath. Pete, no idea why kids love this clock company so much. I thought clocks were too retro for them.
Jesus, you guys.
Michael says, so I can't play Chinese checkers. And my mom had a lot of China, but they broke. And I have 10 cents in my pocket right now. And that wraps up chat.
I'm just gonna stop bringing tech topics.
No, actually, I like the TikTok topic. I think I don't know what to make of this one, because it's interesting, because we like to point at China and say, look at how restrictive they are, look at how much censorship there is over their media, and specifically the internet. Like, it's famous for, or infamous, for like restricting content from their people. And so it kind of feels like we're doing some of that in this case. Like, yeah, we're gonna ban this because we don't like it. Like, I haven't heard a really great reason.
Do you want to?
Why? Yeah, I want to hear it. I want to hear, like, what's the great reason. So I'm a TikTok user. That's what got me into D&D, because I go every night before bed. I go listen to D&D story time, and then I go to sleep dreaming of elves and dragons.
Well, you may be
tell
safe.
Me why.
You may actually be safe.
Tell me why TikTok is evil in its current state.
Okay. First off, guns don't kill people. People do. That's my analogy for this. Okay. TikTok's not evil. The people behind it are. There's a difference. On a side note, Microsoft is actually looking at buying TikTok currently. So there's a chance you won't have to live without it anyways.
Are you saying Microsoft isn't evil?
No, they're just an evil that the government seems to think they can control. And if they don't do it, then Twitter has already said if Microsoft doesn't buy them, we will. So, anywho, on to the reason. TikTok has been very notorious for data mining, illegally data mining people's phones. and sharing that with the Chinese government. Now, some people may say that that's just a small company not knowing what they're doing. Some people would be wrong and very naive, because it is very clear when you start a Chinese company in China what the rules are. It's very clear. If you get any data from any other country, it is very clear what happens with it. And this has nothing to do with TikTok or Tencent or anything other than the Chinese government and gaining data they're not supposed to have about US American citizens. And that may seem inconsequential, but what happens if someone at the Pentagon or on an army base does a TikTok video? They immediately take it down because they know that they have screwed up, but they do a TikTok video and it contains some sort of classified information on a desk behind them or something. What happens? Well, you taking down that TikTok video does not mean it's gone. It's not. It still exists on TikTok servers. And it will then exist on Chinese government and military servers. And that's an extreme example, but it does prove the point that we've already been... I don't think that us banning TikTok is doing the same thing that China is doing, because we've already been on this bandwagon of privatizing personal data and making sure that personal data stays privatized, which is why in California, you have to authorize Google in order to use your personal data. You have to do it now. That law was passed this last year. But we can't pass a law dictating to China that the companies in China have to do this. We can't do that. It's out of our purview. So ban the company.
Yeah, I just don't... I don't see it as different. Like it's meet the new boss, same as the old boss. That's for me. That's all this is. Whether it's a company in the U.S. or a company in China, to me, it leads to the same thing. I mean, just this week, I got a notice that I'm going to get $12 from Google because for 5 years on Google Plus, they left my information out there for third-party companies to just take at will, basically. I'm like, $12?
I got the
really?
same thing.
Is that all it's worth? But that's the thing, is like, I have, like, if we're worried about privacy and security, it's a myth. It's a dang myth right now. There's absolutely, like, if you're online, just assume that everything that you put on, I don't care what kind of server, firewall, proxy you're behind, just assume that everything you do online is visible to somebody and operate that way, because that's the world we're living in, honestly. So I get what you're saying. Yes, part of me is like, well, yeah, I'd rather it be some US company ripping off my private info than the Chinese government. But honestly,
at least you can prosecute the US company.
What are they going to do to me, though? I mean, that's the thing. And I get, like, I'm not the one with the Pentagon secrets, but for the end user...
Well, it's also not just about that, because the thing with governments nowadays is that social media is being used to herd people, as it were. And the more data that you have available on X amount of people or a group of people, the more you can understand how to sway them one way or another way, if that makes sense. So having this personal data is not about you or me or Pete or Mike or Travis. It's about all of us. Because if all of a sudden you start getting ads on Chinese hosted websites, that ads or relevant news articles that start slowly swaying your opinions one way to what they want, then that could be
Thomas too.
And Thomas, that could be a very big problem for the U.S. government down the road.
Yeah.
So you just have to think about it in the larger terms. But I agree with you. Unless you are on an air-gapped computer that has never touched the internet and never will touch the internet, there is not a single thing on your computer that is not already on the internet.
Yeah, so even if you go delete that file, guys,
It's too late.
It's too late.
As they say on Firefly, can't stop the signal.
Yeah, so move to Canada, says Michael. Yeah, Pete, how many rooms you got? Canada's full.
I guess we're stuck with Mexico then, eh?
That is a lot of folks are saying they're going to change. TikTok users are saying they're going to use VPN to say that they're in Canada, so they can still use their TikTok.
Good luck with that.
Anyway, we're going to wrap up. Greenland has a few spots, but they're going fast.
It's okay.
Yeah,
you won Iceland anyways.
We'll see how the election goes.
It's funny, nobody who said they were going to leave last election left, so.
That's true. Okay, so what's coming up this week on your channel?
This week I'm probably starting a job, so nothing.
All right.
No,
it's a whole.
I will probably be doing some computer related tech videos, specifically about my own computer, because I'm still trying to get everything set up. But I do have a little bit of content and some nifty stuff for things relating to newer AMD systems. If anybody's interested, come on over to Blues Tech and check me out. It'll probably be Wednesday of this coming week. Not this week, next week.
Cool. Everybody go over to Blues Tech and check my brother out.
Not in a creepy way. And unless you're a hot female, then it's fine. Not discriminating, I just prefer females of the hot variety.
All right.
How about you?
My channel, take everything that I said I was going to do last week, and that's what I'm going to do this week.
Because someone played too much KOTOR.
I did. I literally dropped 40 hours into Knights of the Old Republic this week, and that took all of my video time. So I'm going to, before I really get stuck into Knights of the Old Republic 2, I have my Retro Game Treasure box to open. I've got my Video Games Monthly to open. I've got the gameplay to do for those. I still have an OG Intellivision top 8 games in my collection list. I've got and a couple of these videos are actually done. So why I didn't post them, I don't know. I didn't want to post
2 seconds.
Around.
Come on.
I didn't want to post around the Amico August 5th thing. So that was I didn't want to like cross post around there either. So anyway, I have some content. I've got more stuff coming. So if you've been sad and pining for my channel, we'll have some stuff out soon.
Oh, I do have one thing. It may not happen next week or this week or next week, but I do have one thing coming, and that is the disassembly of an Atari 2600 6 switch. That'll be coming.
So you'll have some spare parts.
Yeah, if anybody needs probably blown capacitors is what I'm going to guess. I bought an Atari 2600, so if anybody needs parts off of it, let me know, because I'm just using the shell. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's just broken, and it was not absurdly expensive. We'll just say that. So if you need Atari parts, let me know.
All right, cool. Well, hey, everybody who was here today, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you being here and appreciate you filling the chat with wonderful, lovely comments and observations and trolling. We really do like it. So thanks for being here. We'll catch you guys next week. Same time, same place. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.